Okay, this is a video on how to run the Cunningham and Faulkner anaerobic treadmill test. It's a short sort of treadmill sprint style test designed to measure anaerobic capacity. It is, if I just move off to the side here, named after the authors who published this paper, who looked at the aerobic and anaerobic metabolism capacity during this short exhaustive run in the 60s. So you will need a treadmill that goes to at least 20% incline and 8 miles an hour, or 12.9 kilometers an hour. I'll just sort of talk us through this test here. We have our participant getting on our treadmill and our experimenter increasing the speed to its gentle sort of walking speed to get the participant comfortable. They can then start walking and knowing that they're going to be doing a 100% all-out sprint. We then bring them up to a run and give them a warm-up run where they can sort of jog. People say anywhere from sort of 5 to 10 minutes and then hop off for some stretches. The way we like to actually do it, I'll show here, is have the participant go for a jog, sort of warm up their muscles. If they want to do some stretches, hop off in between, that's totally up to them. But at that time, what we then do is take it up to the sprint speed, like the test speed, the 8 miles an hour and 20% incline. We have them do a series of a few short sprints to give them an idea what that speed feels like so they can absolutely perform to their best. Throughout the test here, I'm going to bounce it back and forth between a couple of angles just to give you a full view of it. There are a couple people in here testing, so you're going to hear their voices as we run through the test. So there you go, you can see the participant hopping off the treadmill, and they're just going to wait now. Give him a second to check out his ankle, make sure he's alright, and he said he was good to go. He just needed to sort of work that out. So at this point now, we're going to take the treadmill up to the desired incline and speed, and it will take a little while to just get up there, so make sure your participant doesn't start too early. So once we have the treadmill at incline and at speed, we can get them to hop on, do their quick couple of sprints, and then hop off. So now that he seems ready to go, the experimenter will instruct him to skate the belt a couple of times. And then he'll hop on and start running. Really encourage them to move their arms here, keep their legs moving, keep their legs pumping, and then hop off, and then sort of they've got a feel for it. Everybody in the room can sort of encourage him at this time. If you have additional experimenters, you can have a spotter. We have our treadmill purposely positioned in front of the room. And you can see that even if the person has a little slip up, they should be on the rails to start and be able to grab the rails. And that's why you get a couple of practice runs, because that's what you want. So this is the actual test now. He's hopped on, he had a couple of practice runs, felt it out, and now you really just encourage the person. As soon as they start running, I would allow them to start running first, and you start their timer as soon as they let their hands off the guide rails. So really encouraging them to sort of pump those legs, keep chugging along, and see how our experimenter has their hand out behind their back. That's to allow the person just some feedback. If they start sliding back on the belt, you can give them a tap on the back and then just know that they need to get up towards the front. There you go. So he started sliding back and he knew to hop off and grab the rails. We can immediately take the treadmill down. The person is going to want to actually have a cool down fairly quickly. This is very similar to a Wingate test or any other anaerobic test, which could potentially result in a lot of lactic acid buildup and the person feeling quite sick. So monitoring the person after the fact is very important. Alright, there you go. He starts to walk. We can see the treadmill coming down now, and the participant is in their cool down. So allow them as much time as they need to cool down, and then you record your score. So you should have your score recorded just on your stopwatch. It's very simple. And then you use that compared with their weight to get their actual score. You can then consult it with them right there on the spot. There are some calculations which are in the original paper to look at running efficiency, which you can work on. But basically, as soon as the participant is done their cool down, they feel like they can get off and start walking, you can then move on. presenting them with their results, so using their time. There's a couple different ways to go about this. You can use their time and compare that directly to normative data. So there is some normative data out there on this test. Other textbooks will say you can simply give it to the person as a reference. So let's say he got 44 seconds on this test, and then in the future he would score 46 seconds. You could record that as an improvement. Or you could use the original calculations to work out running efficiency using the person's weight, the speed and grade of the treadmill, and then calculate out their efficiency in terms of liters of oxygen per minute. So I've got actually a side-by-side here of the full audio where I'm actually just going to quiet down and allow that video to play. There you go, so you can hear us encouraging him, especially towards the end of the test. And he knows when to grab that. You'll actually notice that as the participant really starts sort of fatiguing, they start leaning forward a lot. That's pretty typical. He actually hit his hand on the underside of the treadmill. So you don't want them as far forward as completely possible, but it is more dangerous, I guess, to slip off the back of the belt. So really having a long belt treadmill and keeping an eye on the participant is very key during this test.